So today is the first episode of a new segment that I'm going to do here on The Sophisticated Scoundrel, and it is called the Scoundrel Spirit. And what this is an opportunity for me to introduce to you cool things in pop culture that are all about masculinity and showing dudes and men in a cool light. Because there are a lot of things out there content-wise related to, dating or life mission and purpose, a lot of the things that we talk about here. But in order for society to really change, you need the cool factor, the sexy stuff, right? Look back to the 80s and you had all those great movies, Rambo, Rocky, Jackie Chan, going back to James Bond, all that kind of good stuff. You had heroes that could really influence and change the culture. So we need more of that right now. And right now, if we're honest, pop culture sucks. The stuff that you see, it's just lame. All the dudes are dorks. There's no suave, charming, dangerous male characters like they had back in the day. So hey, there's a lot that exists back there that probably not a lot of you guys are watching so much anymore. So I want to introduce this stuff to you. Now, one other thing I would like to mention is that, like I said, in order to change culture and to inspire others to enjoy this type of stuff, we need to have creators out there. And so my main Instagram, obviously, Miami Vice Life. We discuss things via the show Miami Vice, but I have another Instagram. And that Instagram is dedicated to all original content that I myself create, because by trade, I'm a filmmaker. And so I create all original videos over there. And this is my way to add to the pop culture of the world in a masculine way, because I want to make content that guys want to sit back and watch and be inspired by, right? And so if you haven't already, I invite you to just check out the Instagram. If you're so inclined, you can go ahead and follow, but you don't have to. I just want you guys to go there and check it out. And if you yourself are the type of guy who is a creative like me, because I love art, I love creating things, film, music, all that stuff. If you're a guy like that, I'd love to slowly build up a database or a connection or a group of guys who are also wanting to create masculine content, because we need it. We need guys who do music, we need actors, we need writers, we need people who are into typography, who love fashion, guys who are cooks, guys who are into cars. We need all these things that we can work on and develop and then push out into the culture as an alternative to so much of the crap that's out there. Because, when I look back, when I was a kid, we had so many cool guys to look to, like I just mentioned. And so we're going to spend some time and go into that. So today's first episode that I'm going to introduce to you is the James Bond novels. And they're really cool. I had never read a book before. I'd seen a bunch of the movies, obviously, but I've never read a book. So I decided to pick some up and give it a try. So if you didn't know already, James Bond was written by the author Ian Fleming, a British author, and he wrote. There's a total of 12 original Bond novels, and the first one came out in 1953, and that was Casino Royale. So let me just read through by year all the original 12. Okay, so the first one is Casino Royale in 1953, Live and Let Die in 1954, Moonraker 1955. Diamonds Are Forever, 1956. From Russia with Love, 1957. Goldfinger, 1959. For Your Eyes Only, 1960. Thunderball, 1961. The Spy Who Loved Me, 1962. On Her Majesty's Secret Service, 1963. You Only Live Twice, 1964. So these are the original 12, and obviously there's more. And there's a bunch of other ones, but I just kept it simple. So the one I read was Casino Royale, and what was really cool about reading the book is that you get more insights into how Bond thinks. You see it in the movies, but in this version of the story, you really get to hear his inner dialogue. And one thing that stood out to me about these was that these books are written in such a way that you can tell it's written by a man who understands other men, because they're full of themes about grit, about struggling, about hardships, pain, fighting through things, coming up with a plan. There's stuff about protecting others, fighting off danger, how to be charming and how to be a leader with women. There's honor, there's loyalty, there's brotherhood, sacrifice, self-sacrifice, testing oneself, pushing oneself to your limits. And it's really cool to read that because, like I said, it's so hard to find it nowadays in films or books without some sort of a feminist stench all over it. The other cool thing was that you see how important Bond's sense of his mission is. And in this particular book, he's introduced to a love interest that is quite strong. He really does start to develop feelings for this particular woman. And originally when he's paired up with her, he was really upset about it because he knows, and he mentions that he doesn't want to have the distraction of a woman, not because he can't stay focused, but because of a woman's nature in being indecisive and being sort of not as cutthroat as a man can be, not as brutal and cold as a man can be, because when he's out on these missions, he needs to maintain that cold, unemotional focus. And when a woman gets involved, emotions get involved. And I just want to say that obviously having a woman in your life can be a wonderful thing. You know, there's nothing like being with a beautiful, loving, caring woman to enjoy your time with, because let's face it, we all love the company of a woman like that, and they can oftentimes be such a good source of support in supporting your own life mission and purpose. So it's not to say that, you know, men don't want to have a woman around in their life, but Bond expresses the idea that when it comes to work, when it comes to focusing, it's better not to have a female distraction. And this is really applicable to a lot of men today. Having a girlfriend is great, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you can't maintain your focus, and if you don't have the discipline to say, hey, you know what, I gotta dial in. I can't be chit-chatting with you all day. I can't be doing X, Y, and Z. And being able to be willing to say when you can get together, when you can't get together, and you can stay disciplined, that's something that's really, really key. And I think you can pick up a lot in a book like this. It'll give you that confidence to say, hey, you know what, I do need to dial it in no matter what's going on, no matter how hard it is. I can't just slough off today and go hang out with my girlfriend because that's more fun. I got to stick to the mission and get this shit done. And they do a really good job of explaining that. The other really cool thing that it shows is how he can go from being so stone cold to then being charming, witty, and being a true leader in how he interacts with women. I mean, it's fantastic. There's a scene where he basically just says to a girl, hey, well, let's meet downstairs at 7 o'clock. We'll get cocktails. And he just says it. He doesn't ask, you know, because you can imagine if this was done today. Excuse me, miss, would you mind, would you like to get some cocktails? Where would you like to go for dinner? Do you have a particular favorite place that you like to go to? What would you like to do? It's like, this is like the playbook by most guys say, where they're having to ask permission. Well, where would you like to go? I want to be respectful and hear what you have to say. You have Mr. Goody Two-Shoe guy who does that, is friend zoned, whereas in reality, women want the man to plan and just tell them where to be so they can show up looking hot and sexy. And Bond does a great job of doing that. You know, it's the idea of gently leading, saying, hey, I'm going to pick you up tonight at 7 o'clock. I want you to wear that red dress and those heels. And we're going to go out and enjoy ourselves. Well, where are we going? Well, that's for me to know and you to find out, sweetheart. So be ready at 7 o'clock. And you let them wonder about it. Because it's in such stark contrast to the women, a lot of the more aggressive, masculine, feminist women of today who say, well, where are we going? I want to know what we're doing. What do I need to wear? Tell me what time we're going. I want to do this. And the guy's like, oh, okay, sure, yeah, okay, whatever you want to do. Oh, yeah, I'm cool, whatever's. And it's like, there's no polarity. Well, there is polarity. The man's the woman, the woman's the man. And it's the opposite polarity of how a normal situation is. But, you know, I mean, how many of you guys have seen couples that behave like that or met women that behave like that? Instead of being able to be with a woman who's like, okay, sure, that sounds great. Who just says yes and is down for it, and you plan it, she comes along with you, she trusts you, and boom. Well, Bond is one of the masters at those types of interactions. So it's another great thing that you can pick up from the book. So these particular novels, I picked them up on eBay. So if you want to get some, check out eBay. Now these are from the 80s. It's by the publisher Jove, Jove. And I just think that these have the coolest cover art. Yeah, published in March 1980. Great cover art, always feature a really good looking woman, Bond being his suave, badass self. Just really fun, really catchy titles. They look great on a shelf. The other bonus thing I have for you today is this really cool magazine that I picked up at a flea market about James Bond. And it just has a bunch of really cool pictures. It features some of the storylines and characters that appear in the film. It's got some great shots of some of the Bond girls looking all nice and sexy. But there's a really fun part that I want to read to you. I want you to listen to this language about how they talk about Bond. So they say, born to a life of danger, trained to bear hardships, pain, and daily threats to his life with cold courage, educated to be a gentleman, yet a hard-as-nails fighter who can mix it with the best and the worst of any country, Bond is truly a modern man and an authentic hero of our times. I love that. It's like, you know, trained to bear hardships, pain, and daily threats. That's like, you can apply this to any man's life. You got to get out there, hustle, go through the stress of work, deal with all sorts of shit. I'm not saying you have to be a spy, but every day you're out there pushing yourself. Even if you work at McDonald's, like, okay, got an 8-hour shift. Let's get through this lunch rush. I'm gonna just bang this out. I want to handle all the crazy customers. My coworkers who are slackers, I'm gonna be the man. I'm gonna be like boom, 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 boom. You can do this. Like this passage it can be used for any man. And the part where it says, educated to be a gentleman. So you can, again, I'm gonna go back to the McDonald's thing. You can be McDonald's hustling, but you're charming as hell. You're staying cool under pressure. You got people yelling in the background, the customers getting pissed off. You're keeping it cool, you're being charming, you're handling that mess while you're dealing with this mess, and you're just cool as a cucumber, exercising that masculine strength. Then there's this other paragraph here. For the girls, there is always the image of Bond the lover. Immaculately attired, debonair at the dining table, instinctively understanding of their frailties, and passionately ready to comfort them. For women, he exemplifies the man they had always daydreamed of and hoped to meet. Boom. Again, it's so applicable because let's just say you're out on the town with a woman and you're just like, you could turn to charming mode. You're confident, you're smooth. She just follows right along, fits like a glove, easy peasy. And it's just like, she trusts you. You come home from that long, hard shift at work, the crazy McDonald's situation, and boom, you come home, you shower, you flip it around, and boom, you're ready to lead that evening. You're a leader all day long. And you can switch the charm. You just, and this is what, you know, this really is the daydream of women. They want that guy who just is like hitting it hard at work, and it can be that alpha. But then she wants that beta too, can be emotional, who can be, and when I say emotional, I mean a guy who has charm and who listens to her, who can listen in such a way that she just feels comfortable talking to him. He just sits back and asks her, well, how was your day? What's going on? Tell me about it. As he, sits there with his glass of whiskey, and he looks at her, takes a little sip, listens to her. She confides in him. He's the rock of the relationship. And he says to her after she is done venting about maybe something, you know what, sweetheart? Hold that thought. I want you to stand up. He has her stand up, takes her to the dance floor, dances a nice little slow dance with her, and just takes her completely out of her mind so she can just completely give herself to him, submit to his leadership. I mean, Bond really is the man that can do that. And so check out the Bond books. I'm sure you've already seen the movies, but the books are fun, and it's just something, a little different way to enjoy this and learn and embody that masculine spirit that is so perfected by James Bond. All right, guys, this has been the first installment of the Scoundrel Spirit. We're gonna do more. If you guys have any recommendations, or if you have your favorite movies that you think do a really good job of showing men in a good light, that are masculine, maybe they're charming, maybe they're tough, who knows. But drop those down in the comments below. I'd love to know, and it'd be fun to share it with other guys. And again, one quick reminder, if you are a guy out there who is creative, who's passionate, who does some form of art, writing, maybe you're a writer, maybe you're a musician, maybe you do typography, go to check out my Instagram and send me a message just to connect. It'd be cool to build up the circle. So just so I have a database myself of who's out there. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, I invite you to do so. We have some fun around here, and I'm looking to do even more things this year. And last but not least, if you're looking for one-on-one coaching, if you need some extra guidance in your life and want to challenge yourself to grow in a very short amount of time, my coaching program is dedicated to doing that for men. So hit those links below and you can check out more about that program. Okay, guys, that is it for me today. I think I'm gonna enjoy myself a little beverage and check out and see what awaits in this evening. We'll see you in the next video.